court by a Mr. Buxby out of Houston, Texas. He has a law firm there. And what started out as about 50 complaints rose to over 120 complaints roughly. And he's going to read the said information pertaining to the allegations. And then I will play other commentary to tie into the topic. You're going to hear very sick information. Exploitation of children, victims, boy children, girl children, men, women, tranquilizers used, which is very suspicious. How did he get the tranquilizers? Naturally, they was found in the women's bloodstreams. But what are the odds of that? Tranquilizers. Think about that for just a second. Once again, minor children. 120 plus people claiming allegations against him. Names are going to be revealed at some point once the lawsuits have been filed by Mr. Bugsby. And his ex-bodyguard, Big Joe Sherman, denies a sexual assault with a victim, saying he wasn't there, he doesn't know her, don't remember being in New York at the time of the assault. I'm going to chop that information up as well. I'm going to play audio from a news interview that he gave denying the allegation. Very harrowing information, sick information. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $BigANG129 Cash App. Let's hear what Mr. Bugsby has to say. Thank you.
They speak. As many of you know, our law firm has been at the forefront of some of the most important litigation in the United States. We like the tough cases. We thrive in the complicated cases. We've handled over the last 25 years some very big and very important cases. I believe that this one may surpass them all. There are many facets to this. The conduct we will describe today occurred over more than 20 years. There are many people and many entities involved. And we're going to follow this evidence wherever it takes us. We will find the silent accomplices. We will expose the enablers who enabled this conduct behind closed doors. We will pursue this matter no matter who the evidence implicates. These brave victims who have stepped forward deserve nothing less. The biggest secret in the entertainment industry that really wasn't a secret at all has finally been revealed to the world. The wall of silence has now been broken, and victims are coming forward. Our team has had at this point more than 3,285 individuals contact us with people claiming to have been victimized by Sean Combs. After vetting, we now represent 120 individuals who intend to bring civil claims in civil court against Sean Diddy Combs, as well as claims against many other individuals and entities that we will name as defendants as we file these individual cases. And you should know, to the extent the clients feel comfortable, we also intend to make these individuals available to the authorities, specifically to the FBI. And you should also know a few of them have already been spoken to by the FBI.
Wow.
Now, before we discuss the nature of the claims and claimants themselves, let me comment on the large volume of calls we have received since our first announcement. Even before the indictment of Sean Combs, we had received a small volume of calls and had screened a handful of cases. After the indictment of Sean Combs and the announcement that we were pursuing these claims, the floodgates opened. People who wouldn't otherwise, for a variety of reasons, are now stepping forward to make their voices heard and to pursue justice. But no, most of these people are scared. They fear backlash in their communities. They fear backlash in their own families. They are afraid of retaliation from the perpetrators and their associates. They are rightly afraid for their own personal safety. I expect that through this process, many powerful people will be exposed. Many dirty secrets will be revealed. We know what we are potentially up against. And as is always the case in situations like this, when a celebrity is involved, people can be downright mean and nasty. You would be shocked at the length fans will go, no matter the evidence, to the contrary, to defend celebrities they love. And there's a reason for this word fans. They're fanatics. I've personally already been threatened multiple times on social media. And when I agreed to pursue this, I expected as much. This isn't my first rodeo. But victims who step forward to have their voices heard should not be subjected to that kind of conduct. They should not be targeted. I want to say this, and I want to be clear about it. Although we are vetting each call as stringently as we can, I always start with a mindset that I believe victims. I believe victims because I understand the tremendous courage it takes to step forward. So if you're watching this, please hear me. If you're out there and you have been victimized, you are not alone. There is a great strength in numbers. You can seek redress. You can obtain justice. We can help you, and we will help you. That being said, as stated, we are vetting every call that we receive. We've had to turn away some. For each, we ask for corroboration. For each, we ask for the identity of witnesses. We also have collected pictures, videos, texts. We check venues, we check dates. We want to corroborate that the claims being made have legitimacy and merit. We have on staff now a former detective from the Major Offenders Unit of Houston Police Department who is helping us vet each claim. We're using our common sense. We're being stringent because, as I said, these are not easy cases. They're very tough. The process is hard, and in some cases, the process is very lengthy.
Hello, everybody.
These cases are hard to prove. Many times, it's the victim's word against the alleged perpetrator. Each of these victims will no doubt be publicly attacked by the alleged perpetrators, and in some cases, the general public. The feckless and cowardly keyboard warriors love to attack. We know what we're up against. We did not enter this fray blindly. I wish it was my last such fray. I wish this type of behavior wasn't so pervasive. But it is what it is, so we will press on. As I said, our law firms have been retained by 120 individuals at this point to pursue cases in civil court against Sean Diddy Combs. You should know, in this group, it is evenly divided between males and females. There are 60 males and 60 females who have joined us to pursue these claims as plaintiffs. In this group, 62% identify as African American, 30% are white, and the remainder are Hispanic or Asian. The victims are from more than 25 states. Majority are from California, New York, Georgia, and Florida. I want to focus on the ages of these victims. When we talk about the ages of the victims when the conduct occurred, it's shocking. Our youngest victim at the time of the occurrence was 9 years old. We have an individual who was 14 years old. We have one who was 15. 25 of the 120 individuals who are plaintiffs in these cases were minors at the time of the acts complained of. The time frame of the acts complained of is very wide. The conduct at issue spans from the years 1991 all the way to this year, 2024. If you wonder why there are so many alleged victims, that's your answer. We're talking about more than 25 years of this type of conduct. Now, although most of the victims who have stepped forward were victimized after 2015, this has been going on for a very long time. Now, when you think about the fact that some of this conduct occurred 25 years ago, and you wonder why would it take somebody so long to step forward, I want to remind you that many states in the United States have recognized that it's very difficult for a victim to step forward and to make these types of allegations when something very terrible has happened to them. I'll use New York, the state of New York, as an example. The state of New York has specific statutes in place that revive claims that are even claims that would typically be not able to be brought. They revive such claims, and they can be brought even 25 to 30 years later. Because there's a recognition there in New York and California and other states that it's very difficult for a victim to come forward. And I would respectfully suggest the only reason many of these people are coming forward because they see other victims coming forward. And it gives them some comfort that, hey, I won't be the only one. And I expect more victims will come forward. And there's an old saying, it says, a lie has great speed, but truth has endurance. The acts complained of in these cases that we're going to file occurred primarily in New York, either Manhattan or the Hamptons, or occurred in California, primarily in Los Angeles, or in Florida, primarily in Miami. Most of these events and incidents occurred at parties, typically after parties, or album release parties, New Year's Eve parties, 4th of July parties, something they call a puppy party, the all-white party, although several of these events occurred at auditions. Many times, especially young people wanting to break into the industry, were coerced into this type of conduct in the promise of being made a star, or in the promise of having Sean Combs listen to their tape, or even let them read for Sean Combs. You should know that some of this behavior occurred at well-known venues in New York City. Some of this behavior occurred at private residences of people that we all know. Some of this behavior occurred at hotels that we're all familiar with.
I'm going to intervene right here. Private residences. So this is where other people come into play that are well-known, famous, not just his entourage, hired staff, sex workers, famous people. So now we have other people linked in who are well-known where sexual misconduct took place. Who are these people? Who are these people that are famous and entertain sexual improprieties against those in their homes alongside Sean Puffy Combs? As most of you know, there's a tape circulating looking for a highest buyer. Don't know who's going to buy it. Don't know if they're going to release the information from the tape, because naturally you could be liable for putting that person's name out who's in the tape with Sean Puffy Combs. Allegedly, this is a high-profile person. Who was that person? A man or woman? Also, other tapes are allegedly on the horizon to be bought. This is some bad business. But that's the old saying, what's done in the dark will surely come to the light. And you're talking about 2015 to the present, these allegations. So then you have to ask yourself what the hell he was doing before 2015. The same thing. Probably, as he has said, Mr. Bugsby, a 31-year span of misconduct by Sean Puffy Combs. But we'll probably take it past 31, because he's what? 2 years older than the Queen. He'll be 55 next month. So who's to say he wasn't doing essay against victims when he wasn't famous, like when he was in his 20s, teenage years? Will somebody come forward from that era, 80s, to say, oh yeah, he sexually assaulted me in college, high school? Because this is a learned behavior. Somebody groomed him, I won't doubt. He was groomed. And you see this with a lot of sexual predators, child molesters, rapists, serial killers. They were groomed as children. They came in contact with sex early in life, pornography, and then that leads to something, such as voyeurism, peeping toms, taping women, putting cameras and mirrors under doors and under dresses and hiding in bathrooms. It's a jump off. Sad to say, but it is.
You should know that more than 55% of the victims filed reports, reported this conduct.
No, it didn't start
to
with
either the authorities, that is the police, or to hospitals. We're in the process of collecting with our team assistants, medical records, reports that were made to the authorities. And I've already said that some of the individuals in this group did in fact talk to the FBI. You should know that several of the individuals, and when I say several, I mean many, who did in fact seek medical treatment were drug tested, and drugs were found in their system, weird drugs that you probably never heard of. One in particular that continues to pop up is a drug called xylazine, or Tranq, which, based on our research, is known as a horse tranquilizer.
See, there's your proof in the pudding right there. What are the odds that you're going to have random people with that drug in their system? Naturally, you got to get it from a doctor, a vet. If it's a tranquilizer for an animal, you got to get it from a veterinarian. So that means he had contact with somebody in the medical profession to get the drug. So now this is where other people are complicit. Why would you be giving a random person tranquilizers that are meant for animals, horses, or whomever, to a random bloke? So who's the person getting these tranquilizers, also these other drugs, cocaine, ketamine, whomever, where are they getting them from? Are those people going to be liable, brought in as co-conspirators? Anybody that sold Sean Puffy Cone drugs, street drugs, narcotics, these tranquilizers? Like, as I said, random women, don't know how many, men, women, whomever, had the same tranquilizer in their system. That's a pattern right there. And if you got a lady in California who alleges sexual assault by him, and then you got a woman in New York, Georgia, saying the same thing, Miami, and they both had the same drug, come on now. And they both also say, oh yeah, and I was with him, went in his company, got drugged, woke up, had some vaginal, anal tearing, this and that. You're going to hear that as well. There's your pattern. There's your link. Sexual assault, wake up, don't remember anything, body violated, go to the hospital, file a report, get my blood drawn. Oops, got this unknown foreign agent in my system. And then this lady's got it in her system. This guy got it in his system. But none of these people know each other. There's your common denominator right there. And so long as they can get those medical reports, once again, he's a cook bird. Because that's just too, you can't make that up. That's the one thing you can't make up is what's in the blood. Now, police reports. Why wasn't anything done pertaining to filing a police report? Why didn't they hire lawyers to go forward with being sexually assaulted, drugged? And we get it. It's hard to prove. But if you have a drug in your system, you have vaginal and anal tearing, there's your proof. They can't say, well, maybe you liked rough sex with this guy. Well, how can it be rough sex? I don't remember it. I have a drug in my system, so I don't remember having sex with him. These people should have filed a police report. If they did, nothing was done. They should have went and hired an attorney. Because he was never going to stop until somebody finally came forward.
Now, there's been a lot of reports that we're filing a class action. This is not a class action. Class action is when one or two people file a case on behalf of a group of people. That's not this. These cases will be individual cases. Each case will live and die on its own merit. These cases will be filed individually, one plaintiff against whoever the defendants were involved in the case. Each case may be filed in one venue like California, another case may be filed in New York. One case may sue just Sean Combs, but multiple other people. One case may sue a range of people. I would expect most of those to be filed, as I said, thinking or hoping, perhaps believing that I may start naming names. That day will come, but it won't be today. The day will come, and we will name names other than Sean Combs. And there's a lot of names. It's a long list already. And of course, I already know who some of these individuals are. But because of the nature of this case, we're going to make damn sure that we're right before we do that. But the names that we're going to name, assuming that our investigators confirm and corroborate what we've been told, are names that will shock you. These are individual cases. There are indeed other perpetrators involved. They will be revealed when that particular individual case is ready to be filed. They already know who they are. And I'm talking here about not just the cowardly but complicit bystanders. That is, those people that we know watched this behavior occur and did nothing. I'm talking about the people that participated, encouraged it, egged it on. They know who they are. I call them the facilitators of foul play, willing participants in vile conduct. As we identify them, each will be part of this case as defendants. These defendants will not only include individuals, but will also include corporate entities who ultimately profited off of this culture and behavior. I'm looking at banks, pharmaceutical companies, hotels. We know that many of these individuals were paid cash. We know that many of these individuals involved, whether they were the ones being assaulted and abused, or they're witnessing other people being assaulted and abused and then paid and threatened and told to leave. Typically paid 10 grand in cash and told to leave. And then threatened as they were leaving.
Wow.
So in addition to Sean Combs,
That's probably Cassie.
defendants in these cases we're going to file will include
Cassie Ventura.
anyone, of course, who engaged in the assault or exploitation, anyone who participated in such in any way, anyone who encouraged or facilitated this conduct, anyone who was in the room and watched it happen but made no effort to stop it, any venue or venue owner who was aware of what was going on but failed to stop it, any individual or entity who knew about the conduct and benefited from it but did nothing to report it or stop it, and any individual or entity who covered it up or helped cover it up. These people who know who they are should just come forward now. I would imagine, as we speak here, there are a myriad of people who are very nervous. You can't hide skeletons in the closet forever. I would expect there are many people out there right now who are desperately searching their memories as they delete their texts and data. Now, although these are, in fact, individual cases, there is a common theme, an MO, if you will. Typically, the victim is lured into a situation where he or she is drink. Typically, that drink, reported by these victims, is apparently laced with something. Once that drink takes effect, the perpetrators perform all kinds of sexual acts on the victims, many times passing him or her around as other people watch and enjoy the show, and then leave the victim ashamed, confused, injured, and wondering what happened.
You're also going to hear, if you have not already, that the drink will be offered to a female, and it's naturally, drug is already in the drink. You have to drink that drink, or you have to leave the party. Those are the latest allegations as well. That when you walked into the function, you're offered a drink, and if you denied the drink, you were asked to leave. Now imagine that. Somebody is invited to a party, and somebody just walks up and says, hey, here's your drink. And hell, maybe it's a drink you don't want. Maybe you're a wine drinker. I'm assuming when you have a party, you have different types of drinks. Wine, beer, soda, whatever. So you just walk up and hand me a drink and I'm supposed to drink it. And I say, no, that's okay, I want something else. Well, you got to get out of here. I'll gladly go. Thank you. So you got to stay aware of your faculties. You don't feel comfortable in a situation, something don't sound right, something sounds fishy, smells fishy, run your ass out of that. This is why a lot of people get caught up in stuff when they're with certain people as well, especially women. But some of us are easily coerced into listening to other people. Hey, come on, go with us, jump in the car. He wants to take us here. He wants us to go over here. We're going to Pookie's house, Ray Ray's house. You don't know people. This is how many people get assaulted and robbed, jumping in people's cars, running in people's houses, going in hotel rooms. You don't know people. And we all have been foolish as young people, older people, because it's blind trust. But that's a definite sign. You just run up to somebody with a drink. And like I said, if a person's a drinker, they'll have their own preference of what type of drink they like. So let's just say the drink looks red in coloring, and you know you're a vodka drinker or You like orange juice with a drink, whatever your preference is. You say, no, that's okay, I like to get something else. No, you gotta drink this. No, you gotta drink this drink. That should be a sign right there. But why do I have to drink this drink? Oh, it's a specialty of the house. Well, that's okay. I like something else if you don't mind. So yes, he obviously had people working in conjunction with him, because I refuse to believe he was greeting everybody at the door with a damn drink. I don't think so. I don't think so.
When the victim reaches out, he or she is told not to say anything. Sometimes there are threats involving physical violence or financial repercussions or bodily harm. The claims we intend to bring will include the following: violent sexual assault or rape, sexual abuse, facilitated sex with a controlled substance, false imprisonment, compelling prostitution, sexual misconduct, dissemination of video recordings, false imprisonment, sexual abuse of minors. Given the large volume of cases, and given our other docket obligations, and given the fact that we want to be sure when we file these cases that they are fully vetted, I expect we'll start filing these cases against Sean Combs and other perpetrators within the next 30 days. Now, it's rare, sexual abuse, sexual exploitation, this type of activity is pervasive in our society. And it's rare we get a chance where we can really focus on this as a country, and really focus on this, about how pervasive this is and what we can, as collectively, can do about it. So I thought I would take this opportunity before I go into some individual cases and talk about some of the individual claims being made, and so you'll get a sense of what this 120 people group looks like individually. I want to bring forward Carrie Paul. She's a national victim advocate who helps victims who have been victimized by this type of conduct. And she has some important words, and I hope you'll pay close attention. I think it's important that you hear from her.
Hello, I'm Carrie Paul, the National Victim Advocate. It's not easy for any survivor to come forward. Our culture doesn't believe survivors. It blames and questions them. Instead of showing support, many choose to enable abusers. The media runs stories asking why it took so long for survivors to come forward, instead of asking what barriers exist. We also don't equip law enforcement with the ability to handle sexual assault crimes. Lack of funding translates to lack of training. We have officers in the field that don't know what to say to a rape victim, and also an alarming amount of backlog untested rape kits.
I'm very glad she said that, because I was about to say that before she said it. A lot of officers do not know how to appropriately navigate conversation pertaining to sexual assault, rape, and many crimes. Some people just don't have empathy in them, whether it's sexual assault or it's just someone stole your pocketbook. You have to know how to talk to people. You have to know how to relate to people. And many people do not. And we see a lot of this in law enforcement. They do not know how to talk. And it can even be a woman. She doesn't know how to talk to another female. It doesn't have to be necessarily a male. But yes, they need proper training on how to delegate appropriately, efficiently, and with respect to a victim. Because that is the whole point of an investigation, is to investigate, to inquire, to get to the truth. You cannot come in with your own assumptions that the person is lying, not telling the truth. Let them give the information, you investigate, and then you follow through to say, well, I believe this is factual, this is not factual, we don't have the appropriate information to verify, what you're saying. Because in the end, it usually is his side, her side, or the same old same sex, he said, she said. Backlogs of rape kits, exactly. We've seen so many cases of predators who went out and sexually assaulted so many times and got away. They were questioned, but let go. Questioned, let go. DNA sitting in a lab waiting, or sitting in a box in a police precinct waiting to be tested, while the perpetrators out here sexually assaulting other people. And we have also seen this leading to murder, sexual assaulters. While these kids are sitting on shelves and sitting in labs, the perpetrator's out roaming the street, and he's knowing, I've got to now take the life of a victim as not to be interrogated and or brought up on charges. Very prevalent information. Backlogs of rape kits. Inappropriate behavior by law enforcement, not knowing how to handle the situation. Jumping the gun. Talking down to the victims. Shaming the victims. But as I said, life is about blind trust. You have to trust people at some point. Whether it's letting someone come in your house to do work for you, new date, they come to your house, you go to their house. You're not expecting somebody to rape you or have other people in the house sexually assaulting you, putting something in your drink, violating your body parts. Who goes into a date thinking that? No one.
Prosecutors are focused on what they can prove in a case, and if so, how to do that at time of trial. Advocates and staff are stretched thin with growing caseloads in the criminal justice system. Most people don't know how the criminal justice works in general. There isn't enough staff or resources to adequately explain the entire process to every victim and survivor. Our culture works against victims and survivors every day, and abusers know this. Abusers work themselves into positions of power, building a public image that is trusted and financially large enough to make people look away. Abusers are unfortunately very skilled at power and control, the foundation of abuse. They seek victims who are vulnerable, such as children, their employees, and their intimate partners, all who see a different version than the public does, all who rely on the abuser in some way. And for those that do come forward and aren't believed, face questions like, are you sure it happened that way? Were you drinking? What were you wearing?
Very true.
All of this creates an environment that enables abusers to continue abusing them and future victims. To the survivors that have come forward despite not being believed at some point in time, your courage is like nothing we have seen before. We thank you for coming forward for yourself and all survivors. And lastly, I want all survivors that are watching this to know we believe you and we support you. Thank you.
Well said.
I want you now to hear from my co-counsel, Andrew Van Arsdale. We've created a sexual abuse hotline. I want him to visit with us just a few moments about how that works and the kind of volume of call.
I'm going to break there. Feel free to finish this content live. Fox source, live now from Fox. Very true what this young lady has said, the advocate, is that there are so many opinions out here pertaining to sexual assault, women, men, relationships, courtships, fanatical fans, so on and so forth. How far people go, as Mr. Busby was talking about, as far as people threatening other people when they find out they come out and brought forward an allegation against a famous person or even just a regular person. Everybody wants to be involved. Everybody has something to say. Oh, he didn't do that. She didn't do that. You don't know people. That's the point. There's no such thing as saying I know someone. You can say, I don't think he would do that. She would do that. But as you hear in this commentary, they're going after everybody involved, whether it be a hotel, pharmaceutical company, somebody that was in a room, somebody that taped, somebody that passed money, somebody that paid off somebody, somebody that threatened somebody, a victim. If they got proof you were involved, they're going to bring you in on charges. Will the charges stick in these civil suits? Because naturally civil is not the same as criminal. And most times people do win civil suits versus a criminal trial against a perpetrator or a suspect, defendant. Will it stick? Bringing forward these allegations against people who aided Sean Puffy Combs in some way or another. But we know somebody aided medically. Because you're getting a tranquilizer. That means somebody gave that to someone. Either him directly or somebody that he knows. And all these other street drugs, ketamine, cocaine, whatever they were using, heroin, pills, mollies, whatever, GHB, he got them from somewhere. I'm also going to bring you commentary too. One of his sidekicks, she's accused of giving the staff directions to keep drugs on them at all times for Sean Puffy Combs and little fanny packs. So this is where the entourage conspiracy comes in, others being involved. Let's hear from his ex-bodyguard. This is by the U.S. Sun. We need verification. Very salacious pictures inside of this article. This is pertaining to the signals given at the party for guests to leave if they didn't want to participate in the freak-offs. A-listers knew the secret signal that told them when to leave producer Sean Diddy Combs' wild parties, according to a new report. An insider who attended one of Combs' infamous parties revealed that celeb guests had a special sign that indicated when things would get crazy. And in this article, you have two women hugged up, a black woman and a white woman with champagne being poured on top of them. They're topless with bikini bottoms only. White girl straddling the black girl. Very interesting. From this point on, the parties could continue until 7 a.m., where anything went, according to a former guest. 7 a.m. What happened before 2 a.m. pales in comparison to what happened at 5 a.m., one source told Us Weekly. Isn't it amazing how people can party all night long? With drugs, without drugs, alcohol. Some people do have the stamina to stay up all night long. But from what we're understanding, it wasn't a lot of standing up that was going on. According to another source who allegedly wrangled the guests for Diddy's notorious white parties, between 2006 and 2011, a number of the high-profile celebrities would leave between 2 or 3 in the morning before the wildness started. Girls would start to lose their clothes, they said. That was the signal for people to leave. The insider added that drugs would emerge at this time and the vendors would continue into the morning. Another source claimed that the sex workers hired by Combs for the night would do whatever you want. So that means if you're just there, lying around, sitting around, somebody would just walk up to you and start undressing themselves in front of you and unrobing your clothes, and then you just go with the funk and openly have sex with a person in an open room or what? It's crazy to me. In Combs' Combs faces 120 new accusations of sexual assault, dozens of new civil lawsuits. The youngest accuser is just 9 years old, according to attorney Tony Busby. That's who you heard here in this commentary I played for you, who's representing the alleged victims. Speaking at a press conference on Tuesday, he said the allegations involve many powerful people and dirty secrets. He added that his team has pictures, video, text to back up the claims. Combs' decadent parties have been under added scrutiny since his arrest last month. The rapper, 54, was detained on federal charges at a New York City hotel. If found guilty, he faces at least 15 years in prison for sex trafficking, racketeering, and prostitution. The charges came less than a year after a lawsuit filed by Combs' ex, Cassie Ventura, accused the rapper physically and sexually abusing her for years. What happened during the freak-offs? Wow, wow, wow. Here's a narrative of Cassie Ventura's lawsuit from November 23 and the indictment. The music mogul manipulated women to participate in highly orchestrated performances of sexual activity with male commercial sex workers. Freak-offs occurred regularly, sometimes lasted multiple days. often involved multiple commercial sex workers. Combs distributed a variety of controlled substances to victims, in part to keep the victims obedient and compliant. He and the victims typically received IV fluids to recover from the physical exertion and drug use after the freak-offs. Combs seized various freak-off supplies, including narcotics, more than 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant from his homes in Los Angeles and Miami. Combs hit, kicked, threw objects at, dragged victims at times by their hair during and separate from the freak-offs, which often resulted in injuries that took days or weeks to heal. So it's alleged that, I guess, that freak-off took place in that hotel where Cassie was seen on video being assaulted by Sean. His lawyer attests that there was another person in that room. Is that true? Or were there other parties in that room? Is this a case of her just wanting to leave? She was done. She was tired. She didn't want to participate anymore. And that's when he ran out the room and assaulted her. Very interesting. Once again, hit, through objects, drag victims at times by their hair during and separate from the freak-offs, which often resulted in injuries that took days or weeks to heal. He also used the sensitive, embarrassing, and incriminating recordings that he made during freak-offs as collateral to ensure the continued obedience and silence of the victims. Did he do this to Cassie Ventura? Because that's what's in the indictment. And she's the main one who's bringing forward the allegations in the indictment against Sean Puffy Combs. So he obviously filmed her and told her, "You're not going anywhere. I've got the goods on you. Nobody's going to fool with you, date you, have sex with you, knowing you're sleeping with me, Peter, Paul, Dick, Mary." See where I'm going? He knew what he was doing. Maybe that was the whole why she stayed and kept messing with him on and off, because she knew he had video of her, pictures of her. I never thought about that. Why she stayed so long. Why would she agree to these sexual interludes with others? Maybe that's why. Because I hadn't heard that before. He had video of her and probably showed it to her, texted to her, sent her videos, pictures. Who's going to believe you? I got the key. I got the goods. Nobody's going to want you. You can't go tell nobody nothing about what I did to you. Because I got the video to show you're a freak. You're having sex with other men, me, other people. Wow, this is deep. Once again, collateral to ensure the continued obedience, silence of the victims. That suit spurred a raft of other allegations made by alleged victims of the music mogul. It came 6 months after federal agents raided his homes in Miami, Los Angeles. The indictment claims Combs held freak-offs, days-long drug-fueled sex parties where women were coerced into acts and then filmed for blackmail purposes. So this is probably where he films you. Now he calls you back to come back. I got the goods. You got to come back. I'll release the tape. Remember I asked that question, did any of these people go back after being drugged, sexually assaulted, vaginal, anal tearing, and realize, okay, I've been gang raped, woo, 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 gonna go to the authorities, gonna leave us alone, gonna stop working for him, however it went, but then he calls you to say, well, you gotta come back because I got the tape. So you're hook, line, and sinker. Is that what he was doing? As this commentary states, it was blackmail purposes, coercion. At the party, workers would be coerced through money and intimidated into performing sick, non-consensual acts, the indictment claims. So now we're saying he was forcing the sex workers to rape other people in the rooms. Combs organized and directed these parties in part, prosecutors alleged, so he could record sex acts while he masturbated. So what are we saying? He's sitting here masturbating, telling you how to move, what to do, put that there, lick this, bend over. This is wicked. Who the hell wants somebody giving them instructions while having sex? Okay, it's okay. You with somebody you like and they're telling you, well, move over here, put your foot here, put your arm here. I like this, put your head here. Okay, so he's a director producer, which we knew he was a producer of music, but my goodness, we had no idea. He's producing sex videos. Shut your mouth. While touching himself. After days of nonstop drug use and drinking, participants were often mailed IV bags to help recover from the revelry, the indictment claims. Mailed IV bags. This makes no sense. How are the people mailed IV bags? It says, after days of nonstop drug use and drinking, participants were often mailed. So what, he had their addresses and sent them IV drugs? Because what, they couldn't function, they couldn't go to work? Did these people have 9-to-5 jobs? Real jobs. Restaurant work. Worked at a pharmacy, a hotel, a desk job. It's not even talking about mailing them IV bags. I thought somebody was administering the bags at the free offs. This is very weird to me. Federal agents reported finding 1,000 bottles of baby oil in his home during the raids that claimed were used at the parties. Once again, as I stated in my live the other day, you didn't hear boxes of condoms found. Why not? I think everybody needs to call this what it's worth. These people are all probably tainted downstairs. Not just vaginal anal tearing, but HIV, syphilis, gonorrhea, herpes, all type of diseases. There's no way I'm going to believe none of these people came up short. Because that's the one thing you have not heard in the freak-offs and the indictment, that there were boxes of condoms found. Lube oil, baby oil, but no condoms. Why not? Because as I said before, in the heat of the moment when people are having sex, rarely do people say, hey, I got a condom. Hey, put this condom on. Hey, give me a condom. Because they didn't want a condom in the first place. And a lot of men to this day don't want to use a condom. They just don't. So you want me to believe these people were having freak-offs? Somebody's pulling off their blouse or shirt, lifting their skirt, and then she's saying, hey, you want to do something? He says yes, and then she says, oh, you got a condom? She might. But will he say it? Oh, I got a condom. Do you have a condom? Say welcome, everybody. Mailed IV bags they have recovered from the revelry. Indictment claims. Federal agents report finding, once again, 1,000 bottles of baby oil used at these parties. Since the charges came to light, multiple stars accounts of Combs parties have come to light. I think half the people were butt naked, Khloe Kardashian told Courtney about a Combs party in a resurfaced 2014 episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Very interesting. Khloe telling Courtney this. While in a 2019 Hot Ones interview, Ashton Kutcher said there was he can't tell about Combs parties. Combs lawyers have continued to maintain his innocence about the allegations against him. His attorney, Erica Wolf, said in a statement that Combs looks forward to proving his innocence and vindicating himself in court, where the truth will be established based on evidence, not speculation. If you or someone you know is affected by any of the issues raised in the story, call the National Sexual Assault Hotline at 1-800-656-4673. So now we learn from a source or sources, there were signals given to let you know the party was going to get crunk, meaning the women would just start to disrobe their clothes. Would these be women that did it on their own, or they were hired workers and nobody knew? Ashton Kutcher has not come out to say anything pertaining to his relationship with Sean Puffy Combs and attending any of the parties, but as you hear in this commentary, he once told someone he couldn't tell what he saw about the parties. And Khloe, speaking to Courtney years ago in an episode of the Kardashians, that the women were half clad in their clothing at one of the parties. Very interesting. Wow. She says, I think half the people, were butt naked. Let me refrain. Clear that up. Half of the people were butt naked. So now you got to ask herself, well, what time was that? What time of morning or night was that when she saw these people half naked at the party? Let's hear from his ex-bodyguard, Mr. Big Joe Sherman, who claims he did not sexually assault Miss Graves. Didn't know her, don't know her, never was alone with her. You got the wrong guy. Please check out my shorts uploaded earlier pertaining to Sean Puffy Combs. Hello, everybody in the chat. Let's hear what this man has to say. Wow. What a mess. can't get this volume up. Sorry.
It's a lie on me. That's all I'm saying.
Big Joe Sherman wants you to look at his face and listen.
I don't know what to believe.
You've never met him.
Never in my life.
He's talking about this woman, Valiant Graves, who appeared at a highly promoted news conference last week with attorney Gloria Allred.
The trauma of the assault has taken a toll on my mental health.
The attorney for Graves announcing a federal lawsuit claiming that in 2001, the then 25-year-old was drugged and bound and viciously raped in the Manhattan headquarters of Bad Boy Entertainment by music mogul Sean Diddy Combs with his bodyguard and head of security Joe Sherman.
And I'm not questioning my integrity. I'm questioning my integrity. I work with the security. You're not the man. I've never seen you. I've never been with you. I've never been in the same room with you. Not only wasn't I there, I wasn't even in New York.
Sherman says he did security for Bad Boy Records in the 90s, but wasn't working for the company in 2001.
It's me and Mariah Carey.
Sherman provided us with his personal album of photos with celebrity clients he says he's protected over the years.
Me and Beyonce.
He says he did see Diddy at industry parties after Sherman left the company, but there was no relationship. Big Joe maintains he is being set up by false accusations.
Her and whoever that she's in cahoots with was orchestrating a money grab, and she wanted for me to be part of that money grab. They said it like that. She wanted to do it.
Sherman showed us texts from an Instagram account starting last November. He says his team has linked to Graves. We confirmed the connection. The first text asked if Sherman was a security guard for coffee.
She confused me because she kept saying, "Are you Big Joe?" I said, "You're on my Instagram."
When she asked, "Are you Big Joe?" what did that mean to you?
That means that she don't know who I am.
The text asked him to call the number and goes on to say, "If you will be my witness against Diddy, then my attorneys will leave you out of any proceedings because we have statements that you physically showed over 8 people, videos of me and you to people in the studio."
Wow.
Sherman responded, "I don't know what the expletive you're talking about. Know who the expletive you are." He was still named in the lawsuit. Was there any video?
Not only was there never a video, I never saw the woman. I'm nothing but a scapegoat for this BS. Because I wouldn't get puffy and lie on Sean Combs.
We reached out to Allred asking about the texts and Sherman's denial that he was involved. Her email response, "The complaint speaks for itself. Our client looks forward to her day in court." Allred's lawsuit describes Sherman as being involved in a company that produces and distributes pornography.
I don't show nude women.
He says his media outlets publish urban rap magazines that often feature scantily clad women, arguing the photos are similar to ones he's posted on social media.
Am I wrong for having fun on my birthday? Yes, I did all that. I'm single. You can call me that. But I never disrespected or seen this woman in my life. Come on. It's a money grab because they told you it's a money grab. She knows that what she did to me destroyed my family, destroyed my livelihood. I can't get a job.
Sherman's legal team says they plan on filing a counterclaim in the near future that will likely include defamation. Combs' attorneys have not yet responded to the lawsuit. Sarah Wallace, News 4 News.
All right, News 4 News. 1 second, everybody. Well, Big Sherman is denying the allegations. I don't know you, never met you, never sexually assaulted, never disrespected women. I don't know if I believe all that. Because many men have disrespected women. Maybe not raped them, tied them up, gang rape, but you said nasty things, talked down to a woman, cheated on a woman, lied. Come on. Let's keep it real. Says he wasn't working for Sean at that time. when the sexual assault took place. Well, it doesn't mean you couldn't have been hanging with P. Diddy at the time. So she goes into his Instagram account to ask him if he's Big Joe. Well, I can see her asking that because anybody can go on the Instagram just to make sure you're that person. There are people who have lots of accounts. There are people who have inactive accounts. There are people who steal accounts and open them up pretending to be the person. So she wants to verify that you're that guy so she'll know who she's talking to. So that's not a crime, her asking, oh, is this Big Joe? And you're saying, well, you're on my account. Well, she don't know if you're that guy or not because people make fake accounts all the time and they don't belong to the person's picture on the profile. So here we have this information at hand. News 4 New York is the source. A former celebrity bodyguard accused of raping a woman with Sean Diddy Combs more than 2 decades ago claims he's being falsely accused, unfairly linked to the controversial entertainment star who is facing sex trafficking charges. So basically, Big Joe is saying this is a money grab. Well, do you have some money, Joe? Do you have some money? It's a lie on me, he told NBC New York. I don't know this lady from anywhere. Good English. I don't know this lady from anywhere. The woman he referred to as Thalia Grace, who appeared at a highly promoted news conference with attorney Gloria Allred September 24. That's when her attorney announced a federal lawsuit claiming that in 2001, the then 25-year-old Grace was drugged, bound, and viciously raped at the Manhattan headquarters of Bad Boy Entertainment by music mogul and his head of security, Sherman. I am not questioning her integrity. I'm just questioning her claims against me, Sherman told News 4. You got the wrong man. I wasn't even in the same room with you. I have never seen you. I wasn't even in New York that I recall at the time. This is where this sounds rather wishy-washy, if you get my drift, okay? He says, you got the wrong man. I wasn't even in the same room with you. Now, some could say, well, he's just saying he wasn't in the room. You know, matter of factly. First, I would say is, I don't even know who you are. You've got the wrong man. But I wasn't even in the room with you. That'll make a person think, well, somebody was in the room with her. See, it depends on your interpretation of his wording. I have never seen you. I wasn't even in New York that I recall at the time. So, where did he live at the time of 2001 when this incident allegedly took place at the Bad Boy Entertainment establishment? Where was Joe at the time of this assault? In New York, New Jersey, Miami, Chicago, Idaho? Just asking. He says, I don't recall. Now, Sherman admits he worked for Bad Boy in the 90s, but wasn't working for the company in 2001. Former bodyguard has a personal album of photos with celebrity clients. He said he protected over years, as you heard in this commentary, and told NBC New York that he would see Diddy at industry parties after he left the company. Bingo card. That goes to what I just said. Who's to say that, one, he was working at the time, but he's denying it. Number two, he still was hanging around Puff Diddy, but just as a friend. Friend/cohort. You be the judge. Then you got to ask yourself, why did he stop working for Sean Puffy Combs? Are they on speaking terms now? Lots of questions. I would see Diddy at parties after he left the company. However, he notes there was no relationship with Diddy, maintaining that he is being set up by false accusations. So he's saying he never had a relationship with Sean Puffy Combs. Is that true? Her and whoever she's in cahoots with was orchestrating a money grab. She wanted me to be part of that money grab. She wanted to get Diddy, he said. Okay, so where would she get your name from then? Because obviously he's had different bodyguards over the years. So where would Thalia get your name from? So you got to ask all those questions. Where would she get your name from? She just went digging up information, or the lawyers went and dug up all the work for Sean Puffy Combs, and they just picked you out of the group. Oh, let's say it was him that gang raped you. Let's say it's this guy right here, Big Joe Sherman. Sherman provided text from an Instagram account starting November 23 that he said his team was linked to Graves. NBC New York confirmed the connection as well. The first text asked that Sherman was indeed a security guard for Combs. Don't you find this convenient? November 23 is when Cassie filed her civil lawsuit against Sean Puffy Combs. She says, "Are you Big Joe?" I said, "You're on my Instagram." Sherman told us before. He said that when she asked about the same name and showed him, she doesn't know who I am. Well, she might know who you are. She just want to make sure you're the Big Joe Sherman. See, there's a difference. The text asks him to call a number and goes on to say, "If you will be my witness in the city, then my attorneys will leave you out of the proceedings because we have statements that you physically showed over 8 people videos of me and you to people in the studio." So see, this is how he's tied into the allegations. You showed the porn video. So now we got to say that the other people who implicated you, that they're liars. See, it's a ripple effect. Big Joe, you should know better. If you raped her, she remembers what you look like, number one. Number two, somebody came back and told her, hey, there's some porn going around with you in it, with Sean and Big Joe, Pookie, Ray, whoever. Says it right here. 8 people. Says that you physically showed over 8 people videos of me. And you to people in the studio. Say it again, Queen. You showed 8 people videos of me and you to people in the studio. So how is that made up? Because that's a hell of an allegation too, to just go out and say, hey, Big Joe showed me a video of him and some lady. Then here comes another guy, he says the same thing. Then here comes another guy, he says the same thing. Now you're talking about 8 random people are telling this lady, hey, I saw a video of you with Big Joe and Puff Daddy being gang raped. Now I want you to just let that sit right there. This ain't your typical he said, she said of, oh, I heard you're messing around with Pookie. Pookie said he got it from you. Pookie said y'all had sex. Well, Pookie got to show proof I had sex with him. You get what I'm saying? But we're talking about a porn video. That's a bit different. Because now a person is saying, I saw the video. It ain't just that Pookie said he messed with you. I saw you and Pookie doing the do. With Sean Puffy Combs too. 8 different people. Now, I believe people can make up stuff, past lives. But when you say 8 separate people said, hey, Big Joe showed me the video. Because this goes back to what I said about Sean. Sean is passing his pornography around, giving it to people, dubbing tapes, so they would have a copy. And that's probably who has the copy of the infamous famous person in the Atlanta home with Sean, because Sean passed it to somebody and they kept a carbon copy. Checkmate. The reason why R. Kelly's sex tape, his sex tape got out, because you're showing it to people. And then you're dumb as a bag of rocks. They're getting access to the tapes, because they said R. Kelly would walk around with a bag of damn tapes, and so nobody would steal the damn tapes. So now people know what's in the bag. That's their collateral. Hey, I could use this to blackmail him and the people in the tape, in the tapes. He's so ornery and disgusting. He's taping people without their consent, drugging them, raping them, bringing other people into the picture to assault the people, obviously comatose, and then you got the nerve to go show it to people. So as I said, this is just to me another form of necrophilia. What, you want to have sex with dead people? Because that's next. Because if a person is incapacitated, they're out. What did I say about the next level of sexual deviancies? There's nothing left but murder. You keep drugging people, that's what was going to happen anyway. Horse tranquilizers, a person don't have to wake up from that. Could have a stroke, heart attack, anything while out. And he's very lucky that nobody has died on his watch with all these sexual orgies and giving people drugs. Now you hear in this commentary I read to you earlier, mailing people damn IVs. This is crazy to me. So she's asking him if he's Big Joe. He's telling her, well, you're on my Instagram, blah, blah, blah. She doesn't even know who I am. And she's basically telling him, You physically showed over 8 people's videos of me and you to people in the studio. Sherman responded, I don't know what the F you're talking about or who the F you are. Sherman was still naming the lawsuit, but said there never was a video. I never saw this woman. I am nothing but a scapegoat for this BS because I wouldn't lie on Puffy, Sean Combs added. So basically he's saying he's being set up because he won't say he showed the video. And then he has nerve to say, but said there never was a video. How do you know there's not a video? The man's been proven to take people, so how are you going to say there's no video? You can only say there's no video of you, Sean, and Miss Dahlia if you aren't in a video with the two. What's the truth? I'm nothing but a scapegoat. When reached for comment by NBC New York regarding the text of Sherman's denial he was involved, I already said in an email, the complainant speaks for itself. Our client looks forward for her day in court. She says, the complaint speaks for itself. That's by Ms. Already. The lawsuit describes Sherman as being involved in a company that produces and distributes pornography. Sherman said his media outlets publish urban rap magazines that often feature scantily clad women arguing the photos are similar to ones he posted on social media. I don't show nude women, he clarified. I am single. I am a man, but I never disrespected or seen the woman in my life. Sherman said, come on, it's a money grab. She knows what she did. She knows what she did to me, destroyed my family, destroyed my livelihood. I can't get a job. Sherman's legal team said they were planning their legal strategy and there will be a counterclaim filed in a matter of days that will likely include defamation allegations. New York 4 is the source. So this is what I'm going to say once again, Big Joe, and anybody else that's in cahoots with Sean Puffy Combs in the past and still riding his coattail. If the state, the government brings forward video with you stupid motherfuckers in the video, you are a cooked bird as well. Whether you're charged with anything or not, if somebody can point you out, if somebody can look at the video and say, that's his naked ass walking across the screen, that's his naked ass penetrating me, that's his naked ass raping me, what is your counterclaim? What is your counterclaim? Let's get serious. See, that's the gist of the story to the proof. Sean kept the tapes. So there are probably a lot of scared people right now praying nobody's going to recognize their face. And naturally, lawyers, police officers, detectives, FBI, they're not going to know these people in these videos. Somebody's going to have to point somebody out to say, yeah, that's Pookie, that's Ray Ray, that's Sugar Mama, that's Jennifer Lopez, whoever the hell's in these damn tapes. Somebody's going to have to know a random person. That's going to be the problem. But the famous people, well, you know what a famous person looks like. And as it's being said in one of the tapes that's being put up for sale, the lawyer said, you can see who the famous person is, and they don't look like they know that they're being filmed. And I'm sure a lot of the people in the sex tapes over the years had no idea he had a hidden camera in the room. Now, naturally, if you got one in the corner of the room, you can see a camera. But if you're geeked up, doped up, drunk, you ain't thinking about a camera in the corner of a room. You try to get your freak on. But look at the price for freaking off. That's what I said in my live the other day. There's a price to pay for sex. Doesn't matter if you like it once a day, you're a sex worker, you're a freak, you're a sadist. There's a price to pay for having sex. There's a price to pay for having sex without a condom. There's a price to pay for somebody filming you having sex. There's a price to pay for raping somebody. There's a price to pay for aiding the rape. There's a price to pay for passing the drugs, getting high, snorting the drugs, shooting it up. It's all the same. There's a price to pay. And now the price is on the table. Checkmate. Can't go back. There's no going back now. I brought you commentary pertaining to the allegations against Sean Puffy Combs. 120 new lawsuits to be filed coming out of the state of Texas by Mr. Bugsby, an attorney in Houston, Texas, Houston area. Allegations that there were boys and girls men and women. Majority of them were African American, the complaints. 60% men, 60% women. That's a hell of a number. 60 means 60 men, 60 women. Hundreds of allegations. People came forward. Some don't want to be seen, so they probably wouldn't follow through with the lawsuit because they don't want people to know who they are. But he will be bringing those names, I believe, in the next 30 days. So now we're going to get a glimpse of the people who have filed a lawsuit out of this Texas law firm. So, Mr. Sean, you are cooked because some of these people are going to have medical records showing that their bodies were violated anally, vaginally. He mentioned that in the press conference. They were torn down there. Medical records to show that they had tranquilizers in their blood system. Forcible rape. Text messages. That means somebody was texting these people, possibly you, your entourage. You are fucked. So now we got to ask, will a judge seize his accounts as to say, if we believe they have proof of these allegations in civil suits, we're going to hold his monies, freeze his funds, holdings, real estate, equity, whatever he owns, because he's going to have to pay these people out or off. Wow, 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 wow. Let's get down to the next commentary. I think I want to take you to Entertainment Tonight. Feel free to check out that content on Fox if you want. Law and Crime has new content too pertaining to the freak off. The associates, will there be associates arrested in conjunction to these freak offs, sexual assaults, aiding of drugs, so on and so forth? 100 alleged Diddy victims expected to file suit. Wow, 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 wow. 25 minors at the time. Known celebrities aiding the sexual assault against various victims. This ain't good. 1 second while I go through my little database and pick up some content. Looking for this information from Entertainment Tonight. See if I can find it. Well, as I say, it is what it is. Also, Court TV has commentary as well pertaining to Mr. Bugsby, if you need that verification. And also, Law and Crime has a special that P. Diddy hosted freak-offs despite the sex trafficking allegations and investigation. And that goes back to January 2024, and that's in the indictment. Spoken by the judge, that they have proof that you were still entertaining these parties, knowing that you were being investigated for said crime. So that shows you he didn't care to still have people coming in and out of his homes in different places. And he was being investigated by the United States government. But this is what happens when you don't give a you know what. He don't care. He doesn't care. And that's Sean Puffy Combs. Hold on 1 second. Let me find this information for you guys. I'm trying to break it down because there's a lot to play, so I'm just like ad-libbing off of the latest, but I'm giving you the source in case you'd like to go verify it for yourself pertaining to the said information. But I'm bringing you the gist of the latest information pertaining to the freak-offs, conspiracies by the other people involved. We're now getting famous people that may be involved in suit as well. His ex-bodyguard says he did not rape Miss Dahlia Graves. She's saying that he did. The signals given so you would know when to leave the party unless you want to stay and hang and do the little freak-offs. Minors, 25 minors who are now adults, alleged they were sexually assaulted by Sean Puffy Combs, misled to be in the music industry, audition. It was all a ruse. He had no intention of trying to make these people famous. There are also allegations of him raping the children, having oral sex, having the children perform oral sex on him. This man is a monster. He's a monster. And payback is a you know what, and he's about to get it back now. He's about to get all that back. It's just hard to sit here in your mind and grapple a grown-ass man raping a kid, asking a child or forcing a child to touch him inappropriately or put their mouth on his private parts. This man is disgusting. He's absolutely disgusting. He's a bum. And sadly, there are more people out here like Sean, and they're not famous. They're regular civilians who are out here sexually assaulting women, men, children. And that's why I told you, how far are you going to go with your deviances? Because you're going from children to adults to rape to drugging to homosexuality because he can't be fulfilled sexually. This is what I was saying in my video the other day. He and these other sadists cannot be fulfilled sexually. That's why they're sleeping with men, women, want anal sex, want to rape children, want them drugged and laying down like they're dead because you can't be fulfilled. There's nothing left now but death. Well, let's have sex with a corpse. There's nothing left but a corpse and an animal. Take your pick. Well, we also hear there was bestiality done. He's having sex with animals. Why not? You can't seem to get yourself fulfilled. You're raping kids, you're raping grown-ups. Let's keep it real. There's nothing left but having sex with a dead person and an animal. Keeping it real. Prayers for Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, North Carolina, all states affected by Hurricane Helene. It's been hellacious up here in East Tennessee with these towns flooding, Newport, Cobb County, North Carolina. Prayers for these people. There's a lot of people have perished, a lot of people have not turned up. It's dire straits right now, everybody. Dire straits. I can't seem to find this article. Entertainment Tonight for some reason. Oh, mercy. Thought I had it. Please check out my shorts in the YouTube queue and also follow me on the Newsbreak app. Got me a nice little following over there. Got some new subscribers, new followers on the Newsbreak app. Put in your location in the app and you will get breaking news in your demographic. Thank you for joining me. Once again, prayers for those affected by Hurricane Helene. Wait 1 second, everybody. I can't find this information. And also, John Amos has passed away. He played the father, James Evans, on the TV show Good Times. He died at the age of 84. And prayers to his family. Maybe they can stop arguing now on who was abusing him and not taking good care of him, because now he is no longer alive. Check out my community page for send updates to those who were affected by the storm. A lot of people, as I said, lost their homes, their cars, their belongings, and I've posted some of their stories to my community page. The movie of the week is The Empty Man, now playing free on Hulu. And there are some success stories also on pertaining to those who lost their homes, and there are some people who have survived. Amen. Hold up a minute. I gotta go in my library and see if I can find this video. I don't know where it is for some reason. Once again, freak-off associates who helped run the parties, good faith charges. There's also a lady who was his sidekick who was had these associates packing their packs with cocaine for him. Just crazy nonsense. I can't find her name, but she was his chief of staff. This is a Caucasian lady. Just bear with me 1 minute. There was something I wanted to bring up on Entertainment Tonight, and I can't find it for some reason. These are some serious allegations. But like I said before in my commentary, imagine what you don't know. These are just a select few of people coming forward with allegations against Sean Puffy Combs. But imagine the stories you don't know. The allegations and sexual assaults you don't know. The people who don't want to come forward because they don't want to show their face. And I wouldn't be worried about people stalking me and bothering me because people are going to do that anyway. You just have a lot of evil people out here who refuse to believe that people they like are just bad people. But the point is, you don't know people. So you can't say what a person would and would not do. You don't know people. You just don't know people. So you can't say what somebody would and wouldn't do. Well, I don't know. For some reason I can't find it. This is strange. Let me put it up here. I put it in the search engine. There was something I wanted to play for you guys. Hope you all are well out there. Have a wonderful week. Once again, prayers for those affected by Hurricane Helene, those who have perished, and those who have not been found yet. Then they have commentary for Wendy Williams. She has spoken out pertaining to Diddy's arrest. It's about time. That's in the YouTube queue by Entertainment Tonight. This is what I want to play right here. I found it. I don't know why I didn't have it copied down, but
My sister.
sorry about that. All righty. Diddy sexual abuse scandal. Known celebs and minors involved in new allegations. Wow. Who else is going to come out with allegations against Sean Puffy Combs? Will others be arrested that aided Sean Puffy Combs in his sexual assaults against children, men, and women? Something's got to be done. I don't know why this won't come up in my queue for some reason. Hold on, you guys. For some reason, she don't want to come up. She don't want to load up. Oh, hell, I had it on there in the first place. Lord, my brain is gone.
Chinda, a 9-year-old boy, can you tell us about what you know?
Let's remember, we're talking about allegations. We're going to file a public filing where the allegation is going to be that a
Sorry about
9-year-old
that.
child was sexually assaulted allegedly by Sean Combs and several others. This young man now is very compelling, incredibly believable, and his story is corroborated by his parents. And that will be one of the cases that will be filed. But of the 100,
That's what I've been wanting to know right there. Did one of the children tell their parents? And why didn't the parents take the children to be checked out, number one, to the hospital, number two, file a police report, 3, hire an attorney to say, Sean touched my child inappropriately? Why did no one sue Sean Puffy Combs if their child told them that they were assaulted? That's strange to me. Number 2, any adults in these 120 claims? Why did any of you go to a lawyer's office to file a complaint, lawsuit against Sean Puffy Combs?
20, there were 25 that were minors at the time the incidents occurred.
Are those minors all adults now?
Yes.
They're all adults now. Okay. And
Yes.
I want to go back to the 9-year-old boy for a second. If he is filing this lawsuit, will it also lead to possible criminal prosecution?
I hope so.
Will you turn over information?
We're going to make any client that and, each of them, just their testimony alone is evidence. But any client that is willing, I'm going to encourage them to speak to the authorities.
You mentioned you're going to name names in these lawsuits. Will there be celebrity names?
Yes, JB.
I expect so, yes.
Long time coming.
As of now, do you have celebrity names?
I do.
Do you also have corporations?
I do.
What will be the reaction, you believe, when these names come out?
I think people are going to be shocked. And I think people already are suspecting some of the names that you might see. I think some of them will be shocking though.
Wow.
And,
Who are those?
let's not forget that parties, white parties, whatever the parties were. These were well known. A lot of people really were jockeying to go to these parties. These were parties where a lot of well-known people attended, and so there's venues involved, hotels involved. I think that there will be individuals who had parties at their residences, people that you will know, people that attended the parties that watched some of this behavior occur and stood by and let it happen. When it happened again and never said a word about it, and in fact, hushed it. There's a real culture of silence surrounding all this. When I said that this was the most well-known secret in the industry, the general public didn't know what was happening, but I think many people within the entertainment industry were aware of some of the things that were going on, or had heard rumors, or had been in the presence of some of this conduct. So, as far as the reaction, I already believe that people are looking closely at their own social media, scrubbing their social media, probably looking at their data on their phones, likely searching their memories. I bet there are a lot of very nervous people who know things that will eventually be part of the public sphere.
Can you tell me now, is there evidence against any major celebrities that you have, and is there anyone that you can name at this moment?
I'm not going to name anybody right now, but I do have evidence.
Have you had a chance to actually see any videos or text messages or other kind of correspondence that kind of corroborate these stories?
All of the above, yes. And not for all 120 clients. I asked for corroboration. What texts, video, pictures, give me dates, venues, give me witnesses. And we do that, we go through that process. And that's what we're doing.
Have you seen things that have shocked you?
Yeah, I have.
What kind of conduct, though, can you tell us about that you've heard from? As you hear these stories over and over again, what are you hearing?
I've kind of put it in two different buckets. One bucket is young people trying to break into the industry who are coerced, promised things, pressured, in some cases physically assaulted, and then threatened. In other cases, the allegation, which is probably the more common allegation, is at some party somebody reaches out, see somebody on the street, or see somebody in the hotel lobby, or see somebody in the crowd at a show, and somebody from Mr. Combs' entourage reaches out to that person and invites them to an after party. In order to stay, it's told you must drink this drink. Then they can't remember anything, or their memory is hazy from thereafter, and they wake up the next morning injured, and there's drugs in their system. And so that's a pretty common allegation that's been made.
Can you tell me some of the things that is happening to these people?
It's just the most egregious kind of conduct you can think about, and those are the allegations that are being made, and I think that's pretty consistent with what the criminal indictment lays forth.
There is a fear, especially in Hollywood, for people who just went to these parties and now could be connected to these allegations. What happens to someone who, I'm sure because they're famous, they walk into this party and they witness this and then they leave? Will they be part of this lawsuit? Because people will know their name.
Do I intend to name in a lawsuit every person that attended a party? No, that would be foolish. I'm not doing that. Am I going to?
Let me interject there. I'm not going to say what actually happened in these parties, but I believe what one source said that I just read to you, that when there was a signal given, you knew to get your ass out of there because the freak off was about to happen. I'm not going to say that freak offs didn't happen like right in an open space or outside on a patio. They started engaging in sexual activity. But I do believe at some point the house became empty and a chosen area was designated for the open sex of parties and bodies. You understand what I'm saying? Bodies. Went in a back room, went in different rooms. I think the people who were invited for that sole purpose, they knew their role and they knew when it was going to get started or when somebody wanted maybe some company in another room. You see where I'm going? Now, as it was said on an episode of the Kardashians, Khloe told Kourtney, yeah, half of the people were butt naked. Okay, but that's what he was wanting. People start pulling their clothes off, doing stuff to entice other people to join in, to kiss, girl on girl action, guy on guy action, however it goes. But I think at some point there was a shutdown to where what I would call the civilized guests left, went home, partied all they were going to party, and then the ones that wanted to get freaky deaky, they stayed behind, either openly doing stuff or went in separate rooms. But yeah, I mean, there was a signal given for people to say, to be notified, hey, we about to throw down. So you either going to throw down with us, you're going to watch, or you'll get your ass out of here. But then the other part of the story that's weird is offering the people drinks, women drinks, but then they didn't have a preference of a drink. And if they didn't want the drink, then they had to leave. So that sounds like a more personal type party where they put a few people in the room and he designated those certain people to come in the room or to a function with the hopes of drugging them, if you see where I'm going. And then they didn't take the drink, then they're asked to leave the damn function. So I think he had separate type of parties. He probably had the, you know, the big puffy parties where everybody wore all white. You got dancers, music, DJ, bartenders. And then he probably had the more intimate type of parties where he's offering you the drink and you tell him no, and then ask your ass to leave, or bodyguard or staff asks you to go. So I think he had different types of parties. Smaller, intimate ones, and then the big, lavish ones. But I won't doubt freak-offs still took place at the bigger, after, you know, certain people left, if that makes any sense.
And people that facilitated, encouraged, participated in, I'm absolutely going to do that.
There's been a real fear in the past that you would be blackballed in the industry, or maybe that there might be tampering by Diddy, or someone could even show up at your house or in your door. But it seems like this is a watershed moment when you get that many calls, when you have this many people coming to you. Is this a game-changing moment for the music industry and for celebrities?
I hope so. I really hope so. You know, I hope that it is. You know, these folks are scared. These victims are scared. Even now, Sean Combs is behind bars. His bail has been denied twice. I think that the indictment, the arrest, the bail denial obviously led to giving people the courage to come forward. I think the other lawsuits that have been filed, that have been reported about, have also given people, you know, at least some comfort to come forward. I think what we did today will give other people the courage to come forward, not just people who were victimized, you know, also very interested in people who are witnesses. That's super important to me. And also anybody, you know, let's say you're a celebrity and you were at one of these events and you saw something, you feel like you should have said something, or you wish you'd have said something. You know, I'd like to hear from those folks as well. I mean, this is a time for a public airing of this. And, you know, let's make it part of the national dialogue, and let's make sure that everybody who has involvement, you know, that we know who that is and what their involvement was. And I think all of that is good for those that were victimized and their recovery.
Mr. Combs' lawyers responded to the allegations that were laid out in your press conference, and they said they can't answer every baseless lawsuit. What is your response to that?
Well, I think that's right. But the good news for them is that when we file a lawsuit, we're going to make sure they know who the plaintiff is. And the next thing they'll say is, well, we don't remember that plaintiff. And then I will say, I'm sure you don't, because there's so many of them. I've been down this road before. So, you know, I understand how it works. I understand the public defense they will make, and we'll address it in due course.
Do you have a locked-in date that you will drop? You're saying 30 days, but do you have a locked-in date, or will these come any day now? We could start getting these lawsuits.
It could be the next week. I expect we'll file, you know, a series that we may file 3 or 4 at a time. You know, it just depends on how fast that we can do the work that needs to be done and make sure the case is done in the right way.
Texas, Houston, Texas. Find it very interesting. He had lawsuits, he said, or allegations from years ago, which I find weird. So why didn't you bring them forward, Mr. Busby? That's weird to me. That people contacted him years ago pertaining to these allegations against Sean Puffy Combs and entities. Why didn't you bring them forward before, sir? I'm curious. The fact that people went to New York to file the claims because that's the state that allowed you to bring forward allegations without the stipulation of a timeline. 120 people. 25 were minors at the time. 62% were African American bringing forward complaints. 60 men, 60 women. Names will be dropped pertaining to the people filing the lawsuits. Come any day, any week. Will others be cited in the indictment, in the allegations for a civil suit? Conspirators. People who work with Sean. Eyewitnesses that people can remember somebody being in a room or passing by, a worker, staff members, entities, pharmaceutical companies. He's going for the gamut. He seems very confident about himself, Mr. Bugsby. This is going to be a lot of work to do because you're talking about filing paperwork from different jurisdictions, different people, trying to get witnesses to come in, co-conspirators, taking them all down. It's a lot of work. So he must have a very lucrative law firm. So once again, why didn't he bring forward any of these lawsuits years before this indictment? Because many people are going to be curious to that, because I did hear that information on one of his presser he gave, that some of these people had came to him years beforehand. So why now? As you heard the one lady speaking, the advocate that spoke during his presser, that is the question that law enforcement asks the women and the men. Why are you just now mentioning it? Why are you just now telling us? Why are we just now hearing about a sexual assault by Sean or whomever? Because people fear their perpetrator. And as we see, he's a wealthy man. He has the means and the ways to coerce, threaten, have people follow you, call you, stalk you, call your phone. I always say they call the phone, change their number. Because I refuse to believe he was going to have people on the ground chasing all these people day for day, day for day. No, he's going to call you, going to email you. That's what we heard with the allegations against Young Miami, rapper he dated. She was calling one of the women to tell her to abort a kid. How the hell can you be a woman telling another woman to abort a child? You so dickmatized that you want to stalk me to tell me I need to abort a baby? No, bitch, I don't have to abort nothing. He wants me to abort the baby? He can get on a hotline and call me directly. Hey, I want you to get rid of that kid if it's mine. So he want to make sure I ain't getting ready to wait to see if the baby mine, because I want you to sue me for no damn child support. I'll pay you to get the abortion. Hell, I'll even pay you to go away. Don't you find this so interesting how this coercion works with Sean Puffy Combs and these other dogs? It's okay to threaten the people and work them to death and, hey, come over here, let's have sex, beat them up, drag them by the hair, rape them, gang rape them. But as soon as somebody say they're pregnant, now we want to get people to start threatening them. So they were good enough to screw until they got pregnant. Checkmate. Isn't that how the game goes, though, with men when they're not famous? The kitty cat is good until we swole in the belly. Come on with it, Quinn. Now we got a problem with the female. She's undesirable now because she's pregnant. But she was all of that in a bag of chips when she was turning tricks and cartwheels and doing all type of different sexual acts with you. But now she's swole, she's public enemy number one. How about that? This is some mess right here. Because I think there's going to be a really, really dark fallout when names start being introduced, such as people who engaged in the sexual activity, the rapes, sexual assault, the aiding, the drugs, the trafficking of drugs, making deals, wheels, phone calls, flight tickets, all of that. It's going to be bad. It won't matter if the people ever get charged or not. Once their name is put on that paper, now people are going to be looking at you sideways like, oh, you a nasty old heathen. You coddling a perpetrator. Yes, you are. So you just as filthy as he is. Don't matter if you was in the room or not. Don't matter if you was participating or not. You still nasty. But this is what we have. People who coddle perpetrators. Fans coddling perpetrators because you think you know them. That's my brother. That's my brother. That's my sister. That's my cousin. That's my son. That's my daddy. So what? So what? Everybody came from somebody. Everybody got a brother, sister, cousin, a father, a son. But they don't mean that what they're doing is right because they're related to you. Just because you like them, you like the songs they play, you like the fact that they produce good music. So what? A sadist is a sadist. And he's a child molester. Let's talk about that before I check out of here. He's a child molester. 25 of these allegations came from people who were children at the time. 25. Now, imagine the number you don't know. This is nothing but an R. Kelly replay. And what I find funny about it, it's similar to R. Kelly, but it's just a bigger scale. But yet people still defend R. Kelly. And I'm looking at it like, y'all talking about P. Diddy like a damn dog. Y'all got videos, memes, a song that came out from some dude named Cassidy. Y'all talking about this man like a damn dog. But you still defending R. Kelly. Help me understand how they different. Come on with it, Queen. Because somebody don't hear you. How are they different? They're the same. One's dumb as a bag of rocks, can't read and write. The other one can. Both accused of homosexuality and messing with children. Coercion. Rape. Filming. The only thing you ain't heard with R. Kelly is that he put drugs and shit in the drinks. That's the only thing you ain't heard. Or I haven't heard, let's say. What is it saying? Bill Cosby repeat. It's the same. Weinstein repeat. Epstein repeat. But yet, nobody's coming to the defense of Mr. P. Diddy except for Ray J and Stevie J. 2 J's. That should tell you something right there. Because they probably just as nasty as he is. J and J. Shut your mouth. And Ray J, you need to quit talking. I'm tired of hearing your ass. News Nation, give it a rest. Because all he do is talk in circles. How we can make it better, how we can change. We can't change shit. Ain't no change in the mind of no damn pedophile. That's God's work. That ain't man's work. And you the last person that need to be speaking about anything when you made a tape of Kim Kardashian, so you shit your ass down somewhere. Stevie J, where you at? You ain't got nothing else to say about your friend? Because allegedly he got a tape of you fucking a white man. Shut your mouth. And Lil Rod told that. So he's guilty of this shit. I don't care what nobody say. Because they're all too similar to allegations. And the one thing I know a person ain't getting ready to lie about is no tape. Nobody get ready to lie that they saw a tape of people fucking. Now you can make up some shit, but you ain't getting ready to say, yeah, I saw it on tape. I saw the tape. So Miss Graves had people confronting her about a tape. Cassie Ventura, that's in her allegation in her lawsuit, tapes. Lil Rod said the same thing. He saw tapes, got proof. So everybody's making it up about tapes. Well, what are the odds of that? Nah. Ain't nobody making that up. Now we got somebody with a tape of a famous person in Sean Puffy County. So that's a lie too, right? And then there's other tapes allegedly, the lawyer said, that spoke the other day. People fishing trying to sell the tapes. So you trying to sell pornography that was filmed without people's consent. You know that's a fucking crime, right? And I find it weird that they would go to this lawyer, this female lawyer. What's her name, Kincaid or whoever? Why are you out fishing her out? Exactly. You got the tape, it's over with. Exactly. Point blank, he's a cook burger. And then if they can show that the people are drugged and incapacitated, that shows the proof of drugging the people. People having sex with limp bodies, they ain't moving, they ain't talking, they ain't interacting. Who gonna have sex with somebody and just lay there and don't do nothing? Not too many people. You want to enjoy the moment, don't you? Ooh, that feels good. Touch me there. You see where I'm going. And yet he now has hired a new lawyer, Alexander Shapiro, who is the lawyer of his bunkmate, Mr. Bankman-Fried, a cryptocurrency fraudster who's trying to appeal his conviction in federal holding at the DMC in New York, Brooklyn. What's hiring a lawyer going to do? Another lawyer? For what? How many lawyers does Sean Puffy Combs have on deck? Why is somebody telling him, boy, you need to take a plea? Because they coming out the woodworks. They coming out of drones, helicopters, airplanes. It's time for you to bow out, brother. Another thing I want to touch on is his penis. Excuse my manners. I don't mean to get descriptive, but I'm fully grown and so are you. And it's 1 o'clock in the morning Eastern Standard Time, so we're going to get gritty with it because it's the elephant in the room as well, besides the child molestation and him also possibly assaulting his own children. You all better wake up out there. He's a sadist. He cannot be fulfilled sexually. So all bets are off on anything. So he need to go in every hole that's invented, if you get my drift. That's including your ears, under your arms, wherever there's a fold, he can stick his penis. He can't be fulfilled. That's why he's sexually assaulting people, men, women, children, anal sex. He can't be fulfilled. And the only thing left is death and animals. Better stay woke, because I'm woke. His penis is tainted. So I'm waiting for somebody to tell me they HIV positive. Checkmate. Come on with it, Queen. Y'all need to quit dancing around shit that's obvious. You're talking about every damn thing else except for that PP. You want me to believe all these allegations of being raped, gang raped, sexual assault, screwing children? This grown ass man ain't had something wrong with his penis? Ain't no way. So y'all need to touch on that. While we talking about co-conspirators, tranquilizers, children, filming people, famous people in the tapes, famous people houses he having sex and sexual assault in, let's talk about that wee-wee. Because I got a feeling somebody gonna come forward like what Geronda and the other girl came forward with R. Kelly, that he gave them the H, the herpes. So we already heard Usher had it and possibly got it from him. Don't know if that's true or not, but you see where I'm going with this. You are not going to make me believe Sean has not been taking antibiotics for 30 years. You know damn well he has. And the rest of you who've been screwing him, you've been taking antibiotics too. So who's going to come forward to say, I had sex with him and her and them and those, and I came up short? Put the needle on the record. Put the needle on the record. Because that's next. Because we're talking about all this other filth. That's what's next. Who that came up short? Who that came up with a package? A little package or a big package? Take your pick. You got gonorrhea, you got syphilis, you got something. HPV, you got something. Hepatitis. And with all this fucking and screwing, somebody probably got hepatitis. And everybody knows when you get hepatitis C, it leads to the HIV. Come on with it, Queen. I've done my homework. I ain't gonna bring you nothing that ain't the truth. The more diseases you have, the higher chance you have for the risk of HIV. If you didn't know, now you know. So anybody that's sitting up here having all these freak offs with Tom and Billy and Susie and Shamiqua, you should know you have emptied up your chances of getting HIV. And you can get HIV one time, just like getting pregnant one time. Now shut your mouth. Because somebody out there didn't know that. Oh, I didn't know I could get pregnant one time. Yes. You can get AIDS one time. You ain't got to sleep around. You ain't got to be having no freak-offs. You ain't got to be having no menage a trois. Your man ain't had to go cheat with somebody else for you to get no damn HIV. You can get the HIV one time. Get the gonorrhea syphilis one time. You get pregnant one time. Bingo card one time. Ding, ding, ding. Now imagine everybody sleeping with each other. Everybody PP going in and out of this one and that one and that one, interchanging for hours. And you want me to believe ain't nobody came up short? Hey, shit, you's a lie. You's a lie. That motherfucker probably keep antibiotics on standby like them damn lubricants. Come on with it, Queen. He got everything besides a box of condoms. Because you didn't hear that was seized with the goodies in the raids. See, this is why I tell you why ain't nobody paying attention to what's obvious. You talking about lubricants, guns, AR-15s, tapes, devices, but you ain't heard nothing about a Trojan box. Where is the Trojan boxes of condoms? 87% of you believe the accuser. 7% says no, 7% says you're not sure. All this lubricant, baby oil, people stocking the hotel rooms with towels and amenities for the freak offs. But the one thing you ain't heard is that they were stocking the room with condoms. Condoms were found in Miami and Los Angeles. So with all this money you done spent on lubricants and baby oil, why the fuck you ain't bought no damn condoms? Because he likes it raw, which most men do. Women too. Most people don't like condoms. It's a natural thing not to like the condom. Okay? Maybe it irritates your private parts. I get it. But you know there's a price to pay for having raw sex. It's just the way it is. There's a propensity to come up short. It's just the way it is. And most men don't even know they have nerve diseases because they are a symptom. They don't have, as the nurse has described to the queen, they don't have a urethra. Okay? So they don't know downtown is tainted. They probably ain't even noticing a little drip drip. Somebody in the background saying, damn, queen, I know you're going to get deep this morning. I got to because it's the elephant in the room as well. Stop talking around the subject. You can't just keep talking about people having sex and sexual assault and bounding and raping and tying people up and filming. Why don't you talk about what comes with all of that sex? All that sloughing off dead skin cells and body sweat and fluids and video cameras and orchestration. Put your leg up here. No, put your leg down here. Now bend over. Now put your mouth on this. Now put this in your mouth. All that instructions, but ain't nobody talking about nobody getting no damn AIDS. I said that. Just going. I was just sitting here in my mind, can't even imagine a bunch of people in a room in a bed having sex, and he going in one hole, and then this one going in this hole, then he taking his penis out of this person's tail, then he going over here putting his penis in this person's tail, then he taking his penis out that tail and putting it in this girl's vagina. Everybody just slopping on each other. That's a nasty SHIT. But then the flip side is people can say, well, it's no different than if I slept with this one tonight, slept with this one tomorrow, I slept with this one next week. Is it not the same? It's up to you to decide your interpretation. Somebody said, oh, damn, queen, you going deep. Oh, I got to. Because it needs to be addressed. That you can be judged the same, sleeping with different women week to week. You got one girl coming in last night, and then you with another one today. Somebody would say, well, how's that different? Oh, shit. I'm just saying. We are all human. So if you know to sleep around with different women, are you any different than Puff Daddy sleeping in a room with a bunch of people going in and out of holes simultaneously in the same night? Some would say, what's the difference between sleeping with Susie tonight, Mary tomorrow, Shamika on Friday, Janet on Saturday? You see where I'm going, don't you? What's the difference? Is there a difference? Is it a difference? The sex worker slept with 2 or 3 people today. She slept with 2 or 3 people tomorrow. 4 or 5 people Thursday. What's the difference? Just ain't sleeping with them at the same time. But she gets up, pull her panties up, and then go back to the street or go back and pick up another date, and he penetrates her, and she ain't using no condom. You see where I'm going with this? It's about interpretation. Your perception. 81% of you do believe the accusers. The children. What type of fascination do you have with a fucking kid? Your ass is nasty. Now all this slinging ding-ding along in these rooms and everybody sucking and licking and doing all type of shit with each other in the same room on nasty asses, that's one damn thing. But now we talk about messing with people's children, and this is where you need your ass whooped. And you parents, you need your ass whooped too, because you should not be leaving your children unattended with nobody. That's what I told my aunt earlier. You don't send your child to New York. You don't send your child to California. You don't send your child to Chicago unattended with a music mogul, producer, singer, dancer, athlete, nobody. You sending your baby to the studio, you go to the studio with your baby. When that studio time is over, you check your ass out the studio with your child and go back to your fucking hotel room. Then you get your lazy ass back up, and when the car picks you up, pick up your child, you go back to the studio. Did I make myself clear? Ain't no sending your child off with no stranger. So Usher's mama, she need her ass whooped. Justin Bieber, your parents need their ass whooped. You don't send your children off with no stranger. Now we gotta ask, did those two guys get touched inappropriately or penetrated by Sean? They ain't gonna never tell that, because they're gonna claim themselves as heterosexual men, and they ain't gonna want nobody to know somebody was touching their pee-pee, putting their mouth on their pee-pee, they putting their mouth on their pee-pee, and being penetrated by Sean's pee-pee. Okay? Of course not. They want to preserve their manhood. But the parents are wrong. And then you parents who sent your children away with Sean, you are wrong. And the fact that some of you knew that your children were penetrated or touched, and they came back and told you, you should have found Sean Puffy Combs and laid his ass out and took the charge. Sometimes the law just got to be put on the back burner. I'm sorry. We are human, and we are flawed, and we are of flesh. But when it comes to them children, all bets are off. Your ass want to get popped. Why no lawsuits, arrests pertaining to the kids? Because those are the ones you should be believing. What child's going to make up this man asked him to perform oral sex on him? Come on now. Let's stop this foolishness. Let's stop this foolishness. And I'm going to find out that maybe somebody confronted Sean and he paid off the parent, and now they're coming forward. Could that be also a situation here? Situation number 9? Could be. But what do you see in a child, Sean? All this kitty cat and dick out here, you want a kid because you've been groomed yourself. And what do they say about grooming? They usually, the perpetrator will pick an age group of the age he or she was perpetrated against. Shut your mouth. So if you were groomed and touched at 8, you go out and pick an 8-year-old to be your first victim. Did you hear what I said? I heard some experts say that recently, talking about the DeSoto case that's in Florida, DeSoto case. That the perpetrator tends to pick his victim according to the age he was when he was assaulted. Very interesting. Is that true? So, Sean, what are you trying to tell us? You were assaulted at the age of 9 or before that? Who was your assaulter? Because I do believe you have been groomed by somebody as a child. You were groomed either by an adult or a child. You were engaged in a sexual activity or witnessing sexual activity at an early age. You possibly were seeing people walking around naked and having sex, touching each other. Somebody in the chat said your mother was a street lady. Don't know if that's true or not, but you saw something as a child that was inappropriate, and it got that mind wandering and experimenting. And that's normal because you were a child. And that's what people don't understand, is that children explore their bodies when they are young. They touch each other inappropriately because they don't know any better. They have to be told, you can't be touching your pee-pee, you can't be pulling your pee-pee out, you can't be putting your pee-pee on a girl. Your children have to be taught that. So the same thing goes for talking to your children about being touched inappropriately. You got to tell your kids, nobody's supposed to touch you downtown or your backside. Nobody's supposed to be putting their mouth on your private parts. You're not supposed to be putting your mouth on another person's part, whether it's a child or an adult. Your child is not going to know what's right or wrong until you tell them. And a lot of you just don't want to talk to your children about sex. It's time for you to grow your ass up. Just because your mom and daddy didn't teach you about sex, you don't let your child wander out here and get experimented on so they can end up becoming a fucking perpetrator. Because this is how child molesters are made. They were molested. The facts are there. It's not perception, it is facts. Most child molesters rapists were molested. Checkmate. And if you don't get no help, you will then become the very thing that people despise. And the thing you despise as a child, you are now becoming what was done to you. And I believe that is why we have this nasty Sean Puffy Combs. He is a Build-A-Bear. He was built to become a sadist. And it's not his fault as a child if he was touched inappropriately, penetrated. But when he became grown and he began to fantasize and idolize children, that's where there's a problem. And he should have gotten help and got a therapist to say, I was touched as a child. I now think about children. I know it's wrong. I need help. And through the blood of Jesus, he could have got some help. But instead, he's acting that shit out. And now he's taking it to a whole new level with the raping and the drugging and the filming and the bondage and the beating up people, coercion, blowing up cars, shooting. This motherfucker is off the chain. But God said, I got a plan. I'm getting ready to stop all of this because you had a good run, as Suge Knight said. And then Suge Knight said it about his own self. I had a good run. Yes, your bald-headed ass did have a good run. That's why your ass is locked up, because you didn't know how to act out here. Checkmate. Call a spade a spade. You can't walk the earth doing this type of shit and think it's not going to come back. Sean is a lonely, black, homosexual man. And his time came up. And as I'm seeing people writing articles, commenting, oh, this one did it, he ain't arrested, this one did it, who cares? God will decide when it's somebody's turn to be arrested and indicted, and not before then. So comparing sadist to sadist is immature, and it's petty, and it's disrespectful. No different than saying, well, he caught a charge for selling dope, why he ain't arrested? Well, God said it wasn't his turn to get arrested. That's fine. Dirty cop, same thing. Dirty mama, same thing. Dirty daddy, same thing. Ain't they time? Exactly. Same thing with R. Kelly. Exactly. Stop comparing crimes. Hate when people do that. You want to talk about what another motherfucker did and why they ain't arrested. So what? So what? God ain't made it time for them. When he ready for them to get indicted, he will put it on paper. He'll put it to print. Because as a lawyer said the other day, every state is different when it comes to laws. What you do in New Jersey don't mean you would get that same punishment in New York or Ohio or Florida. Exactly. Who's investigating the crime don't navigate how another detective would navigate a crime in the state next door. That's common sense. Same charge, different outcome. Different witnesses, different testimony. Because they're different cases. So they're not going to have the same result. But what is sick are the people who have enabled Sean, these perpetrators, to do these nasty deeds. To watch, go, look, make airline tickets, pick up people from the airport, transport them around. You know that's a minor in the car. Why are you doing it? And if anybody was at a party and watched somebody incapacitated, you wrong. You should have went over to the person and said, hey girl, get up, get up. And I wouldn't give a fuck when somebody walked up to me, hey, what you doing? No, what you doing? You know that girl is incapacitated. Why you on her? Hell yeah, I'm gonna pick her up. Come on, let's go. Let's get this girl out of here. Let's get her home. That's what you do. You don't turn a blind eye. You see somebody laying flat out on a sofa or chair, and you see somebody trying to grope them, you walk your ass right in between and say, let me help her up. She look like she needs some cool water. You don't mind, do you? And they'll get the drift when they see that look on your face. I best to back up off of this. Yeah, go find you another kitty cat to steal. So you got to lead by example. I remember it was probably a year ago. I was outside a club here in Knoxville, and there was a young lady I know, she was lit, toe up, drunk. And there was a guy standing by her car, so I was talking to her, and he was talking to her, and she was too intoxicated. And I didn't know if she knew this guy or not, and it wasn't to be disrespectful to him, but I didn't know what was going on and what was about to go on. And I know she kept saying she was looking for her phone, so I didn't know if he had her phone, he had her phone, so I'm trying to help her find her phone. Now, all this time I'm looking in the backseat of the car, I couldn't find the phone, and then all of a sudden I look back, keep digging, I find her phone, which I thought was suspicious. So I don't know what this little dude was up to, but that's the point. If you are a genuine human, you're going to look after a person to make sure they get in their car and get their ass where they need to go. Naturally, she was in no shape to drive her car, but I didn't trust the guy who was standing there at the car. That's my point. He could have been a good friend, but I didn't know him. And I let him know I wasn't moving until she got her ass in that car and turned that damn ignition on. Do you see where I'm going with this? That's what you do when you are genuine about a person's safety. If he was up to no good, trying to get in her car or rob her or steal from her, he wasn't about to do it while I was standing there, because I wasn't going to move. And I let her know, get in the car. You're drunk, get in the car before you catch a charge. Get in your car. Oh, I ain't got that far to go. Get in your car. And I'm letting him know, well, I don't mean no harm, sweetheart, but she is drunk and she needs to get home. And I'm looking for the phone, found the phone, told her, here's your phone, put your phone in your purse, get in the car, shut the door, and then I let her know, I'm going to watch you drive off. You see how I roll with that? Oh, yeah, I'm a beast. I'm a motherfucking beast. Because I didn't know that dude. And like I said, he could have been harmless. He could have been just her friend. But something in my spirit was telling me something wasn't right when she couldn't find her phone. And that would be the first avenue to get a person subdued, is to make sure you take their phone, hide their phone. Then the next thing you try to do is either get in a car with them or get them out of their car and take them in your car. Well, I was making sure she got in her car, door shut, phone found, turn his ignition over, I'm going to watch you pull off. Now, if he hadn't followed her, I had nothing to do with that. But this was off-street parking. Don't even know where he was parked, so he may not even be able to get to in time if he was up to no good. But you see what I'm saying? And she was frisky, very frisky. She's, I know of her because she had to have a talking very sexual in nature about what she wanted to do and what she wanted to get into. She was that type of female. And see, that's a dangerous game when you are under the influence of alcohol. You don't talk like that. That's guy talk. And frankly, it's not appropriate for men to be talking about, I'm horny, I want to get into something tonight, I want a piece of ass and all that. Okay, well, keep that to yourself. Ain't nobody interested in that kind of talk. Filthy mouth talk. I'm not. It don't turn me on. But she's talking like that. I've heard her talk like that. And I can't remember if she talked like that one night, but I did hear her talk like that. I want to get me some dick or whatever. See, a lady ain't supposed to talk like that. But to each his own. But I stood there that night to make sure she got in her car. Because for all I know, she could have went down the road and wrecked her car because she was pissy drunk. And I'm talking about couldn't stand up. That type of drunk. But if you're that type that's overt in your sexuality, you also under the influence, you are asking for trouble out in a public place. Because you cannot walk out in public talking about you want some DICK. Let me make that clear. I don't advise that type of talk from a lady, and you are inebriated. I don't advise you saying it if you weren't drunk, because you're going to invite the wrong type of DICK, if you get my drift. Because you might get you some DICK and you don't wake your ass up. He get you home, strangle your ass, kill you after assaulting you, and then he out the door, wiping down door handles. See, a lot of people don't think like that. I do, because I've talked about true crime on this network. And as I have said before in my commentary pertaining to Sean Puffy Combs, Sean can't be sexually fulfilled, so there's nothing left but death and screwing animals. Necrophilia and screwing animals. You all better wake up. This is a man who is highly driven by sex and control. He's miserable, he's unhappy, he's insecure, he's a homosexual, he's an undercover brother, he doesn't like women, he's a woman hater. Oh shit. You wasn't expecting that now, were you? You didn't figure out what this was all about. All this beating and dragging and kicking and stomping and drugging and tying people up and gang sex. You ain't figured out what this is all about. He's a woman hater. What type of man gonna say he love a woman but invite a male sex worker to screw her and he sits in a chair and masturbate? I'm gonna let that sit right there. Love. You couldn't possibly love me. You want me to have sex with another man that I don't even know. And you don't know. And you gonna sit in a chair and touch yourself while he is having sex with me? You love me? See, this is the part of the relationship I don't understand with Cassie Ventura. But I got a feeling I know why she stayed around. It's because he filmed her. That would make a whole lot of sense. He had the tapes. You ain't going nowhere because I'm going to tell everybody what you've been doing. So she was trapped. And maybe that's why he blackmailed other people. That's also in the indictments and the civil suits. That's why he would take people so he would have collateral to hold over their heads. Now, let's say a person was working a 9-to-5 job and also whoring on the side. He knew that he could tape you and then have you come work for free. Now, you would want people to know this is what you do in your spare time. I got the tape. Checkmate. He's a dirty motherfucker. And that's the reason why he is right now in Brooklyn, New York in federal holding, because his time was up. Or as they say in the street, the gig was up. He had a 30-year run of it, a 30-year run of salacious behavior behind closed doors. And as Suge Knight said, he had a good run, but it's now over with. He's not coming out of there. His lawyer seeking appeals in the federal court for a bail. But as the judge said, pertaining to his escapades, you have a habit of coercion, blackmail, threats to witnesses, which you have done back in January. Still having freakouts, and then had the nerve to have drugs in your hotel 2 weeks ago when you got arrested. So that shows you have no remorse. You have not changed. You feel like your shit don't stink, and you didn't take the indictment serious. Who goes to New York to wait to be arrested and then have drugs in their possession? Only a fool. He does not care. 120 new accusers. 60 males, 60 women. 25 were minors at the time of the alleged assaults. All will now become lawsuits on file. He has hired a new attorney, Alexander Shapiro, his bunkmate's attorney, Bankman-Fried, cryptocurrency defrauder, fraudster. Information about parties, signals given when to leave as to not participate in the freak-offs. Sex tapes are now on the horizon looking for a buyer. Has anyone bought any of the sex tapes with the famous person in them with Sean Puffy Combs? Other people involved in the freak-offs at their own house engaging in sexual assaults. Who are those famous people? Will we see other tapes circulating with famous people in those tapes? Men, women, politicians, musicians, sportsmen. And God forbid that information gets out to the public of who's in that fucking tape. All hell's getting ready to break loose. And if you have had sex with Sean Puffy Combs, you should be very worried if you are not indeed a porn star. Because all it takes is for somebody to look at the tape and decide they want to call your ass out and put your name on blast as being somebody in the tape, either incapacitated or having sex with Sean Puffy Combs and other participants. And God forbid you are actually being penetrated by Sean Puffy Combs, or you're penetrating him and you're a man. It's going to be on like Donkey Kong. That's my content. Thank you for joining me. Like, share, subscribe. Go into YouTube Cube to check out my 3,000 plus videos and shorts. Follow me on the Newsbreak app. And if you'd like to donate to this great network, $ Big Angie 129 Cash App. The next live stream will be pertaining to Wendy Williams. Kevin said she hid $48 million from him at the time of their divorce. He wants some of that money, and he wants his back payments, alimony payments, and he wants that lawyer of hers, her overseer, Miss Sabrina Morrissey, to prove she can delegate on behalf of Wendy in the state of New Jersey because she is a New York attorney. That's my next live, everybody. Kevin Hunter wants more money from Wendy Williams. He wants her also to appear in court since she has been seen out in public in August with her son at an herbal shop. He says, well, if she can go there, she can appear in court. We will see what the judge will say, if the judge will overturn their divorce settlement. And the fact that her friend told it allegedly that she had $55 million to her name in her bank, I'd like to say to the friend, why the hell would you be telling that information knowing Kevin was suing her for alimony payments? Did you say that because you were worried about Miss Sabrina stealing her money? Wondering what she actually had in her account when she became under the guardianship of Miss Morrissey? Whatever your reasons, it will come back now to haunt Wendy Williams if it's true. Wendy has more money in the bank than what she reported at the time of her divorce with Kevin Hunter. Kevin, let me talk to you for just a second, because I'm trying to get off this damn live. Will you take your black ass somewhere and get a job? You were living off of Wendy Williams' money. You were sleeping around with that little girl. You made a baby with that little girl. And now you all still trying to pimp this woman, a sick woman, off her money. Now, Wendy Williams has had her run of being a really dirty motherfucker too, with that mouth and gossip, but that's neither here nor there. God handles all. Bruh, it's time for you to get a job. Because you have decided to go out here and give this woman and make a baby with her, that's on you. They ain't got to do it with Wendy's. You need to make your own money. And you trying to pimp off of Wendy Williams now is disgusting. And little girl, same thing with you. You need to get your little ass up and get a job. Because everybody is pimping everybody. Don't you see this is a hustle? Perhaps her son was using her, spending her money, using her gold card, black card. Other family members getting a piece of the pie before the guardianship came in. The bank realized something wasn't going right with her bank statements and spending habits, so they froze her accounts. That's what they do. That's her job. Or the flip side could be somebody decided, well, she seemed like an easy pawn. We think she's sick. Let's try to steal her money. I don't know. I'm not a mind reader. All I know is when you become wealthy, you're right for the taking. And people will try to manipulate and con you. And then when you become ill or sick, they will definitely try to hoodwink you. And that's exactly what happened with Wendy Williams. Everybody was pimping her off her funds. But the one thing I've learned about money, the well will run dry and there won't be no water or no milk in the well. Okay? The cow can no longer produce. And as I told my aunt last night, God can intervene and stop all of that. When he realizes what's going on, he says to himself, okay, I'm going to put a stop to this because I see these people are trying to milk the cow for free. And I'm not going to have that. So everybody going to have to get their ass up and go get them a damn job. So ain't no more living house to hog in expensive homes and riding around in Lamborghinis and shit. Yeah, you got to go drive you a fucking Honda or a Nissan like everybody else. Checkmate. You got to hustle and grind the right way like everybody else. Because that's life. So as she had a good run in life, her time came up. Do you see where I'm going? Another famous person whose time came up. So there's no more milking the cow. Same thing with Diddy. Time's up. But he's about to get milked because it's due for all the atrociousness he's put out to the universe. The universe has to get that back. And that's what people don't understand about life. Whether you believe in God, Allah, Buddha, whomever, the earth has to get it back. And she gonna get it back. One way or the other. All means necessary. She gonna get it back. And that's what you're seeing with these people in their personal lives. The universe is taking back what was stolen. Stay well. Thank you for your time. God bless. I love you. Have a wonderful week. Movie of the week is The Empty Man, now playing free on Hulu. This is for my horror fans, those of you who like scary movies. And this is the month for creepy crawly things. So every day or every other day, I'll try to bring you a scary movie to watch for your enjoyment. For those of you who like horror movies, thank you for the love, the support. God bless all of you. Thank you for those who are in the chat. JB, who's been here giving up the commentary. Thank you so much for your support, sweetheart. Love all of you all. I'll be back once again with more commentary next live stream. Wendy Williams, Kevin Hunter. You've been listening to the Vault XL.